93rd. 24 hours of Le Mans is underway. The two Cadillacs off the front row of the grid go toe-to-toe up towards turn one. On the inside line, Albamba. On the outside line is Will Stevens. Stevens tries to brave it out on the outside line. He's just got his nose in front as round the outside as well comes Julian Andlau in the Porsche. Cadillac side by side for the lead. It's going to be Will Stevens ahead of Albamba. Third is Andlau. There was a good start being made by Kevin Magnussen, but cars all over the curb. They rattled their way then for the first time down through the Dunlop S's. Cadillac leads Le Mans. Porsche goes second. The flag is waved from the LMP2 and then the GT3 cars. Aston Martin leading, BMW leading, Ferrari leading, Mercedes AMG in the LMGT3 class. That's some pretty feisty racing for the first few corners, Graham.
Well, it certainly was. I think a bit of contact there in the middle of the pack or towards the back of the pack in Hypercar. One of the Peugeots, I think, involved in that. We'll catch up with that as things settle down in about 25 hours.
So down the Mulsanne straight then they come for the first time, and you can see everybody on their toes looking for track position side by side for the lead, and Julian Andlau goes through into the first chicane round the outside. So Cadillac led for about a quarter of the lap, but here, Peter Dunbrett, Julian Andlau is on a mission.
I do wonder whether the Cadillacs worked their tyres hard enough on that outlap, because you could see the Porsche visibly side to side really working the tyres, and the Cadillacs were very stationary in a straight line. So
side by side, Peter, between the number 8 Toyota and one of the factory Ferraris, with the 83 just behind. So these are cars we do expect to be in the hunts. There goes the 83, looking to make the move, and does so.
Late on the brakes, wasn't he there, diving into the corner. Phil Hansen at the wheel of 83, the bright yellow Ferrari. And there, look, you've got the battle going on between number 99, Neil Jani at the wheel, and the Aston Martins. There, look, you've got Porsche number 5 then in the middle of the traffic. That's Julian Andlau, the race leader, trying to wriggle his way through the forward chicane. You want to clear that traffic as quickly as you can.
And he's doing that very well as he clears the first batch of traffic, crosses the line, 4.1 seconds to good, and he's catching another great big batch on the straight, which again, Peter Dunbrett will help him in this battle to keep cars and space between him and the pursuing Cadillacs.
And there, look, hypercars getting past traffic, but also in the middle of all of that, you've got Chris Froggatt trying to battle against that Mercedes. Lucas Stoltz is the Mercedes AMG driver. Look at the background, you've got silver Mercedes, orange and white Ferrari side by side. Lucas Stoltz on the inside. They're going to carry on battling all the way down the Mulsanne straight. The two Cadillacs have got themselves together, Stevens and Bamba nose to tail. So right now, down through that first chicane, it is an incredibly busy racetrack, and if you're in the GT class trying to have your own battle, the last thing you need is a hypercar come whizzing by. You've got to be so sharp here, Peter. Getting a replay of the start of the race. You saw Roger Federer wave them away, but as the two Cadillacs were busy squabbling round the outside, went Julian Andlau, and he got track position then going into the first of the Dunlop S's, and look, so much better off the corner to go around the outside there.
Yeah, just tyres immediately there for him, and we've not seen him look back since. You know, you can see the Cadillac struggling for grip on the exit, the rear of the car moving around a bit into the traction control, and the Porsche just getting the foot down and driving out the corner. So that's been, I suppose, the biggest surprise for me so far is the ultimate race pace of the Porsches. In qualifying, they weren't anything special, but they're certainly looking very special in the race.
That was Andlau getting the race lead, coming down to first of the chicanes. We're getting pit stops from LMP2 already. Drivers staying in the cars. Andre Lotter, for example, stays behind the wheel, keeps the same set of tyres, and that was the reaction from Porsche. Julian Andlau put the car into the lead of the race. Replay of the LMP2 start. Matthias Besch going toe-to-toe on the run-up towards the first corner with Tom Dillman. The GT battle in the background. This is how Mathieu Drudi got the class lead. And the start on board with Louis Delatraz coming out of the chicane, over the line, and blasting on up towards the first corner. The outside line having the grip on it, but Delatraz being able to slot in front of the Inter-Europol competition car, hanging on to that place as they come through that first sequence of corners, the Dunlop S's. In LMGT3, good getaway by Mathieu Drudi. He was well clear of the opposition when they got to the line and was able to keep that class lead all the way to the first round of pit stops. Felipe Nasr, and off the road there, look, goes 22. David Heinemeier Hansson has had a spin, and he's going to try to rejoin and cause his people to scatter, and spins again, and there's another car that's had a spin in the middle of all of that, and that's the Chris Froggatt Ferrari. So have they got themselves together? That rejoin by Heinemeier Hansson was a bit risky, to say the least, was it? Trying to spin turn the car in front of more traffic. Let's see what happened. There, up the inside goes the United Autosports Oreca, bang, into the back of Chris Froggatt. So that was the first incident that Heinemeier Hansen had. Look, Chris Froggatt gets a rude welcome to Le Mans as the Ziggo Sport Tempesta Ferrari gets turned around. And you can see the amount of tar smoke. David Heinemeier Hansen trying to get the car back in the right direction. The adrenaline is pumping and pumping. He wants to rejoin as fast as, and did so, but caused more people to scatter in avoidance. There's the incident again.
I think he'll take a penalty for that as well.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's causing a collision, surely. But look, here he is, wants to get going. Here's the traffic, and he just...
Yeah, that's definitely unsafe rejoin.
We're working lap number 14 here, and great battles going on. Look, between Porsche and Toyota. Oh, so close as Mike Conway tries to clear Felipe Nasr. Nasr on the inside, Conway on the outside, and they've got traffic up the road. Just able to dive past the Corvette, but that was brave racing, Peter Dumbrek.
Yeah, you can see them get very close. Of course, you get the side draft, so the overtaking driver does want to get as close as possible to the other car because you can side draft up beside them.
Oh, and a big slide there from the Peugeot that goes off the road. Caught out by the air in the traffic and heading towards the tyres. Yes, big contact. Bodywork flies, wheel off. And there is your first major drama of the race. It's 93 Peugeot. It is Paul de Resta at the wheel of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you could see him have a big moment, and then the GT car in front went to take the line. Paul just had nowhere to go around the outside, and when you get into the gravel at that speed, then yeah, you're only going one place, and that's into the wall.
So Paul de Resta is going to have to come into the pit lane. It was quite a whack. He was lucky in a sense that he was able to continue, lucky that it came at the end of the lap, but that again is just not what the teams need, and out of nowhere, Johnny, things could just bite you.
Yeah, it looked like the bump had settled the car, and unfortunately the car was there and he had to avoid.
Right, it's dragged down the pit lane. Let's listen in.
What was I supposed to do there? Yeah, Paul, update on the car. Update on the car. How is the car looking?
The car is not looking good. Chances are not looking good. This is set to be a long pit stop, I fear. Just look at the damage in the back of that, Peter Dumbrek.
Yeah, we're going to see that car push back into the pits.
As we could see, and here we've got the board coming into our feet because we're right in the middle of action. But also the front right of the car is damaged, so we're going to replace both the rear cover and the front. And this car will be sent back. The tire seems to be okay, but I think the team will just take the opportunity to put a new set of tires and probably fuel. That's it. Back to you in the booth.
He's also very lucky.
Keep an eye on what's going on here. This is the 92 car coming up behind Corvette and Ferrari, and that is a touch from the Corvette. The 150 car goes around. That is Ben Keating on Castadio Toledo.
Again, another move that wasn't really on, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's maybe just a little bit of impatience from Ben. Worth saying, by the way, the incident that led to that unsafe rejoin, there was a clarification shown on screen. Both drivers under investigation for that. From the number 60 Iron Lynx AMG, Andrew Gilbert. And that's contact there. That's super slow-mo. It's the CLX Pure Racing car and TDS 37 and 29 in the Ford chicane. That was pretty substantial contact between the two as well. Which again, yeah.
It's not somewhere you expect a car to dive down your inside. So you've got to, well, yeah, the car that was overtaken down the inside, you've got to allow, oh, we've got a straight on Porsche as well. You've got to allow that space for that car. And in that instance, the driver on the outside just wasn't expecting it.
Now, how is this going to go? Who's got the quicker package at this stage? You got to say, it's a defensive move there from Kevin Estre. Nothing he could do, though. Nick Nielsen has gone by the Porsche. That is fourth position for Nick Nielsen. Ferrari beginning to come to the fore here.
Yep, just like the last 2 years, they're showing that the race pace is very good. They were, you know, for the first half of last year, it could have gone any way, but then as we got to the second half of the race, it really was Ferrari or Toyota. So at the minute, it's looking like Porsche and Ferrari being the stronger cars out there.
Nielsen made the move, or went to go for the move early. He's not happy with the blocking move he feels from Kevin Estre, using international sign language of what was all that about. So Valentina Haase-Clos in that Aston Martin. All's clear of, and we've got trouble here for the number 21 car, side by side with the Iron Danes Porsche. 21 Ferrari going around. Hands of Francois Heriot. Has Francois been in that car from the start? I think he has.
But through the traffic, Will Stevens has just built that gap a little bit. Let's have another look at some of the battles that were coming down towards the chicane. Look at that proper send up the inside by the Cadillac, up the curb. I'm not sure there was contact. And oh, there was there, the second part of the drama. So look at the big lock-up. He's off the circuit completely in avoidance all over the curb, and clunk into the back goes Antonio Giovinazzi, who didn't really have anywhere else to go.
No, unfortunately, he was just caught at the apex. But I'll be interested to see what the bodywork does from the Cadillac there. But yeah, unfortunately, Will, it looked like obviously he just exited stage left just to try and not have an accident, and then obviously unsighted, they came back on track. So yeah, hopefully it's not too bad a damage for him later on in the race.
Right, in Hypercar, this great battle is still raging on coming out of Mulsanne corner. Towards us then comes number 15 BMW, Dries Van Thor at the wheel of it. Then, behind him, he is in 8th place. 9th is Antonio Giovinazzi. In the Ferrari behind him, you've got Earl Bamber. Side by side, though, the Cadillacs, Bamber and Stevens, virtually toe-to-toe as they try and stave off the challenge of the BMW of Robin Freins and get through the traffic. Up towards Indianapolis, there was an effort being thought about there on the inside, but Earl Bamber slops back in behind Will Stevens. It's great to watch, but it must be giving the team heart failure.
Yeah, I don't think, obviously, it's a good battle between the two teammates. I'm sure they'll be super sensible early on in the race, but great to watch. You know, you can see the energy of both drivers just now. They really want to get track position and get going. Right,
this is Bamber's view then as he heads away from Arnage down towards the Porsche curves, feeling he's got the speed to get by, but of course, understandably, Will Stevens is in no hurry to give up the place, nor should he. Right there behind is Robin Freins. Now, it's a bit early in the race to think about team orders, but the team will be looking at the relative merits of which is the quicker car. Let's just eavesdrop again then to Earl Bamber. Let's go on board 38.
We've asked to swap position. We've asked to swap positions.
They're very different. It's a very different racetrack from what they practiced on. So the engineer is still, with the driver trying to balance it, and Jaminet got boxed in, and Vantor just went whistling by.
Up into second place then, so that was Mathieu Jaminet getting stuck behind the Kessel Run Ferrari. He's cleared him now, but a great opportunistic move by Vantor. Jaminet committed to the move and then realised it wasn't going to happen. He had to back out of it, and Vantor had all the road ahead of him. So Vantor is up into second place. He's gone storming by, and that is not good news at all for Jaminet, who, don't forget, that car was so good in the first two stints of the race. Now, in quick succession, it's got shuffled back to third.
Again, the track is evolving away from what they have, and that's what the engineer is going to be talking to him, working with anti-roll bars, working with brake balance, working with torque settings to try and bring the car back. And this is where it happened, as you say. Jaminet went inside, and then there was no inside to be on.
Ferrari chopped across, he had to slam on the brakes, and Vantor was able to just swing round the outside.
The road just opened up for Vantor, didn't it? Look at that. Straight round the outside, job done. And this is how he saw it. To the inside line goes Jaminet, realised it wasn't on, backed out of it. Round the outside comes Vantor. Thank you very much.
But also, Peter, hoping against hope that the Ferrari doesn't twitch away, because there's a Porsche inside him, a hypercar inside him, and he was lucky he didn't, you know. Well-driven Kessel Racing Ferrari. 38, 12 and 101. 3 Cadillacs in the pits already. Monster lock-up for the number 7 Toyota, and straight off the track, Kamui Kobayashi. Yikes. And that will have been why we had the yellow flags.
311 coming towards us then, that's Felipe Drugovich, and Drugovich has got Robert Kubica right up behind him. So look, red Cadillac, yellow Ferrari in the traffic. Kubica thinks about the inside, can't get by there. Brendan Hartley is reeling them in as well. Look in the Peugeot, to the outside line goes Kubica. He's got a Ferrari GT car in the way. He gets round the outside, he's up the inside of the traffic. Fantastic move by Kubica.
Yeah, brilliant, classy move there by Kubica. And he had to take that risk, didn't he? So he's got past the Cadillac, look at the number 8 Toyota as well, down the inside of the Inter-Europol car, LMP2 round Arnage, and not far behind him is the BMW Hypercar as well. You don't expect as a driver, it's something where you can't, you don't imagine anything like that could happen to your car. But look at this, this is some, I don't know if he's going too quickly here with a puncturing tyre. That's just going to obliterate itself.
Yeah, that's not looking good, and I think
this is proper.
If the tyre hasn't gone, it's about to.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be really. These teams should be onto the radio saying, just slow things down. It's a long race. We've got to get this thing back.
Because if the rubber flails, the bodywork comes off. That's going to take the lights with it, and to go back to your earlier point, then it all spirals out of control. So that Mustang of Leverato is the third car we've seen lose a wheel. One was a Porsche Hypercar, one was an Oreca out of LMP2, now a Mustang out of LMP3 across the weekend, not the race, but the entire weekend. So really interesting as to why that has been happening.
The garage is like he didn't need much effort to take it off.
Yes.
Very odd.
And if you've, I mean, we didn't see it wobble, but it might have been.
Here we go then.
Here comes Kubica, and right behind him, because they have come out in front of 51, but behind 50, this is the 51 car of Antonio Giovinazzi, up to speed and looking to get through, and he will gang up with Robert Kubica, either side of the Porsche, 3 wide into Indianapolis.
Maximum risk there by Giovinazzi, and if he did make that pass, he would have been off the track as well, so he would have had to have given it back anyway. Giovinazzi in full attack mode here.
So we're not going to take any crazy risks because we need the points for the championship. They say the week before the race, driver visor down, dander up, I'm going in that gap. You're not actually on the track, you're on the hard shoulder. I know, trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Well, this will be interesting. Look, the Porsche in front of them. That's really going to cause a concertina effect here as they have to go round the outside. So it wasn't the Porsche, it was the Mercedes. But yeah, they handle that one as you would expect. Such pros. All three of these are really enjoying this one. The cars clearly have strengths in different places.
Nothing crazy, mate, please. Nothing crazy, mate, please.
Yeah, just reel it in a bit. We saw what you did, and we don't like it.
Yeah, great to watch, but, you know, you've made a heart rate go up, so calm it down,
20
please.
hours to go.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on.
Nothing crazy, they say to Antonio Giovinazzi.
Heli shot there of a bit of Le Mans we don't normally see.
This is the moment.
Oh, it was 16, so it wasn't 311 he was behind. It was another of the LMP2 cars.
It's a big hit.
That was a big clump, wasn't it? That's the RLRM sport car of Michael Jensen.
Oh dear, oh dear.
And that's why you saw all the smoke, because basically the tyre was going flat. And I'm not sure if he had broken suspension there as well. Certainly not a tyre that's going to get much use after that in lap. So this is replay. This is a new nose going on to the Algarve Pro car. Here we go. Battle for second again. And here comes Kubica. He's going to lean on him a little more this time, I think.
Done it. This is great because both cars, they're benefiting from the slipstream. So now Kubica has to try and make a break for it. A good round of applause as well in the garage, rightly so, as YFA gets ready to jump in the 83.
Redesign the aerodynamics and the engine and the suspension.
Oh, trouble.
Oh, problem for the 59 McLaren, I think that is. No, no, it's not. That's the 95. James Cottingham is in the pits in 59. So that's the 95 car. Now, that is the car that also stopped at the side of the road in qualifying, isn't it? No, it's the other, it was 59. No, it was 59. This is Darren Leong in the 95.
It was the heroics from Sean Galale.
Yeah, we saw it pulled off at the side of the road in Hyperpole, and then suddenly at the end of Hyperpole, hang on a minute, he's coming across the line and putting himself in the top 3. Where did that come from?
It is the same car.
No, it's not, because no, isn't Sean Galale with James Cottingham? Oh, he is in okay, he's in 59.
Hypercars with so much grip that they probably don't need to use that much track, but certainly some of the cars, that was a wee tag.
It was, and drama falls then, so the Peugeot gets tapped around, has to go now around the roundabout to get back onto the circuit, and Loic Duval is not going to be happy at all about that. We'll see whether Paul Chatin has picked up any damage. He's gained the place, but there might be a penalty for that, for causing a collision.
Yeah, I mean, it was... He sort of was so close that when the Peugeot sort of started to drift and sort of, not defend, but sort of make the point that he's going to sort of be in the middle of the road, I think it was just the awareness of the Alpine just unfortunately just locked the right front and ran into the back of the Peugeot. So, yeah.
That's just after the hit. We don't see the build-up to it, but, yeah. The Alpine is lucky in a sense that it can go round and rejoin the racetrack. The way that the Peugeot is pointing, he's got to then go and waste more time. Wait for the impact.
Just at this point, isn't it?
He locked up. Yeah, he's locked up.
Locked up and slid into the Peugeot. Let's hear from Chatin.
Yeah, but he moved under brakes. I cannot avoid him. He moved back. I have a bit vibration for track. Please check.